What is going on, guys? Man in Plastic here. Right off the bat, I want to start off by saying I honestly should have gotten this review up way sooner, but there were a ton of complications. A lot of the footage, again, started getting really corrupted all the time. So I had to find a solution. I'm pretty sure I found it, so I should be able to record more consistently without any issues. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you guys for tuning in, and those of you who have tuned in and we're waiting for the video, if any of you were. It's gonna be up like pretty much right now as you're watching this. But so I have been waiting to review this for so long. It's been about a week since I received both of the GOGETA figures from Kamione.I, and I'm really sorry, I'm kind of taking out some dust from the light box, but I have really looked forward to this. I'm really antsy to get into it. If you guys can see, he's not in the box. Oops, sorry, show the camera right there. He's not in the box because I already took him out and started playing around with him. But yeah, so I just want to start off by saying that. Thank you guys again for tuning in, for those of you that have. Again, I know a couple of things have gotten in the way, but I will upload consistently when I can. And yeah, appreciate you guys for being here. But let's go ahead and get into the boxes already. So here is one of the boxes. This is the accessory box. As you guys can see, there are already a couple missing because I already put the figure together. I know, yeah, I'm a little impatient, but it's honestly, without spoiling anything, it's one of my favorite figures that I own. But getting into the accessories, so I don't want to take everything out because I like everything being kind of tidy in where it's supposed to be. so here you guys can see, you get quite a bit in here. This is where the halo was. Let me do it properly in front of the camera. This is where the halo was. This is the windswept vest. This was the static vest right here. And then right here, where these two little spots are, or where the shoulder pads were. And here you can see, comes with 10 faces. Each comes with 10 faces. A very, very good amount of accessories. Here's the smiling face. And before I continue with the accessories, I have heard a ton of criticism about like whether it's accurate or not to Z, specific to which version you get, either Super or Z version. I can see that it's not the most accurate. However, I will say it's probably one of the most accurate out there. I've seen the pictures that Bandai have taken out for the event exclusive GOGETA. I do think it looks really good, and it is, I think, a little more accurate than this, but I do think that I feel it looks a little more like Vegeta. I do like that this looks like GOGETA respectively, but I understand the criticism that it's not completely accurate to their respective style. But continuing on with the accessories, here you get the teeth graining face. Please focus. Thank you. Teeth graining face. Here you get the yelling face. Right there. I really like these faces. They're very, very well made. It's something I always liked about Kamione.I/Tonson is that in terms of faces, they're really good. Always really good. Here we have the, again, like the smirking, happy smirking face in base form. Here we have the stern face in base form. Here is the, oh, there you go. Here is the, I guess you can say the grinning face. Yeah, the grinning face here in base form. And then you get, you get the base form head with is it? Yeah, a smirk. It wasn't coming off on camera for a second there. A smirk face on the base form. Here is another smirk face on the Super Saiyan, but looking forward this time. I already have the more accurate hair on the body over there, but then here is the windswept head. Windswept to the right. And just want to keep it in there so it doesn't flop around in the box. Here, last but not least, is the windswept vest. Now, one criticism I do have about this in particular, will come later, but Suffice it to say, those of you that are very scared of something happening to your figures in terms of like finish or paint or quality, this might be a little bit of a concern for you guys. However, like I said, I'll get into that later. But that is the accessories for the for like the accurate GOGETA accessories. Let's get on to the rest in the separate box. Okay, and then doing this is kind of like a quick second batch look at the Muay Thai fighter accessories. So here's the head, and I do appreciate the fact that they actually took the time to paint this, because they could have just left these blank. But it's a nice addition. It's just a nice addition. Of course, it's to avoid copyright, but you know, it's still kind of a consumer-friendly thing to do, to add more accessories and, you know, actually take the time to paint them. But I mean, this looks really good, honestly. Like, it looks like a very weird semi-realistic Krillin, but it looks good. So, you know, maybe someone can come up with like a kit bash or some sort of custom for something using these pieces, but honestly pretty cool. Here's the left wrist wrapped forearm piece / hand. And here is the right one. Again, I like the fact that they actually took the time to paint these pretty well. And that's another point for Tonson, is that in terms of accessories, you really do get what you pay for. Like, these figures are on the upper end of 60, early, like very like low 70s prices. And, you know, it might seem kind of scary for some people that that want to buy third party, especially, you know, with QC and all that stuff. But we'll say, if you guys are already starting to lean towards buying this figure, I will put links in the description. I'll talk about it more in the end, but honestly, I feel you guys might be kind of happy with this one. But that was the second batch of accessories. Let's get on to the more accessories in the box. Okay, and last but not least is the rest of the accessories in the box. I'm realizing I probably just could have done everything in one foul swoop, just kept everything in the box, but it's fine. So something about this is you get, they're a little fidgety to get out of here, but you actually do get more, I guess, butterfly joints or butterfly covers. Yeah, I guess butterfly sorry, I'm like struggling to find the word there. These are 2 more replacement butterfly joint covers, is what I meant to say. Because in box, I'm not sure if it's for every figure, but in box the black ones come already put on the figure, on the body. That way you don't have to replace them when you want to put on the vest. These are a hassle to take off. I don't think I'll ever use these. They're very hard to take off. I think someone, as a video I had seen, also mentioned this, is if you look closely in here, there's, of course, that's the opening for the ball joint, but then in here it has 2 separate notches that you have to fit at the same time. It is a nightmare to fit these on, so I won't even attempt, because I'm afraid of, you know, maybe potentially breaking a joint just because it's kind of hard to put these on. But those are the wrist wrap hands. Here is the Soul Punisher hand with the Soul Punisher effect. It does come apart. It just comes with the effect in hand. If you can see the peg right there. One of the biggest criticisms I have for the Kamione GOGETAs, like in general, is that the effects could have been better and maybe a little more accurate. I do wish this would have been maybe like a little more iridescent, more shiny. Like, it's already pretty shiny, but in the movie it looks almost like what you would assume animated chrome would look like. So I think it would have been nicer if it would have been closer, but it's more of a nitpick than anything. Here you get the crossed arms, and I don't really like these that much. Again, it's nice to have them because it's more value for the customer, but I don't think I really use these that much because they're kind of small. I haven't replaced them because, again, when it comes to stuff like this, it's kind of scary to replace things because, you know, fear of breaking joints and what have not. But it is nice the fact that these connect at the shoulder joint, at the butterfly joint, instead of the bicep, because bicep joints tend to be kind of not weak, but easier to break, so it's less scary that way. You get 2 ki blast hands. There's a karate chop hand for the right, karate chop hand for the left. 2 almost like maybe, I want to say just open hands. Here is another ki blast hand for the Soul Punisher. More, I guess you could say these are more ki blast hands. I think so, more ki blast hands, or maybe like grabbing something. These specifically are, I'm pretty sure, made to maybe grab the vest he has, kind of like on the Tonson trunks, from what I've heard. The BoJack movie and Broly movie trunks that came out a little while ago. Then you have the fighting pose stance, another grabbing hand, and of course the cross arms. All in all, in terms of accessories, I say this is definitely worth it. Now, you can make the argument that some of the accessories weren't needed or should have been replaced, and I can see that, honestly. I can see that. Some of the accessories don't really seem necessary, like maybe the extra butterfly covers for the joints, and maybe like the base form head could have been something different. However, in terms of quantity you get for the price, it's honestly it's very justified in my opinion. But that's it for the accessories, so let's move on to one of the most exciting, one of the most hyped characters I've looked at for such a long time. Let's go ahead and bring him out and put him on the mat. So guys, here he is. I argue this is probably the most hyped character of this year so far. I don't think we've had quite a figure that quite measured up, or not measured up, but a figure that quite generated as much hype as this figure right here. I'm like actually super pumped to have this in hand now. You know, I've been waiting a while to get this. You know, I always looked at my pre-order every day just to check if it had shipped at all. But here he is. Like, honestly, it looks so cool. Again, I will bring up the art style again, because I understand it's not the closest to Z Gogeta. However, I don't mind it. It looks amazing. Like, he has the baggy pants. He has really good proportions. The color of the hair, I know a lot of people were like, eh. It's honestly not that bad. There's a little bit of debris in there. I have to get that out. I think it's a little. But honestly, how can you, like, having it in hand, I get the complaints, but honestly, they're like secondary to like the way the figure actually looks and feels. But again, you know, some of them are valid. But here we have him. I have him with the stern face on and with the more accurate hair. It's like a little more wavy. Here they have baggy pants. There we go, 360. I also, this is my first Tonson figure with these forearm swivel joints. And honestly, I really like these. I think it's really smart implementation. I found that figure art sometimes lacks in like the forearm movement department, and it can lack a little bit of dynamicism. So I actually really like these. But in terms of articulation, well, let's go ahead and take a look at him. So get side to side. Not the absolute greatest, but again, he does have the vest on. Back, not that much. Forward is quite a bit. He can tuck his chin, and without having any, so much separation in his hair and face. So that's pretty good. In terms of arms, again, something I will point out: just be careful with the shoulder pads. Let me go ahead and take one out just to show you guys. The shoulder pads do have a clear ball joint made of clear plastic here. So just don't be too rough with it. I know I myself can be a little rough with my figures sometimes, but I try to be as careful as possible. I recommend you guys do the same. And if this figure at all is tight, is like super tight, you can't move anything out of the box, do not move it. First, get some silicone grease or oil, shock oil. I thought I'll try to find maybe some, put a link in the description. Sorry, according to what some people use and some people prefer. But here we go. Out of the box, nothing has been super tight to the point I can't move it, so I don't think I need the silicone grease. However, it's still handy to have just in case. But move the shoulder pad up, move the arm up, quite a bit past 90. He can almost touch his shoulder to this part of the vest right here. Again, it is a little tight, but it's just really firm. Like, it doesn't feel like it's gonna break anytime soon. So that's past 90 on that arm. Go with this one. Again, past 90 on this arm. And again, you guys don't know how these joints work. Sometimes you have to push them up, like so. There we go, to get them back into the original position. Well, I think I'll probably still definitely buy some shock oil just in case anything firms up at all. But pretty good articulation so far. Here we have back. There's a little bit of a gap there, but that's if you do like too much. You see I'm like trying to pry it just a little bit more than it would normally go, because normally without all that prying would probably be like right there, and it's not that bad. But if you want to go a little further, it opens up a little bit. But that's pretty good looking back. With the head looking back a little bit, it's honestly pretty good. And then let's crunch forward. Wow, that is actually pretty good. The top of his torso can touch the belt, and that's actually a really good crunch. There's no ugly separation at the back here. Sometimes this right here, the bottom piece of the torso tends to pop out of the torso, so it can look kind of ugly for those of you that don't like exposing joints and all that. So far so good. Bit of a nitpick. I do wish they had like a static belt. However, it's really not that big of a deal. It still looks good. Like, it's movable. You know, you can move it away if it's in the way for any posing and such. So not that big of a deal. And the legs. So these legs kind of remind me of the Kid Buu legs that I have. Not that I have, but the figure that I have from Tonson, one of his first figures. However, the joints are different, so these look more similar, more closely resembling the 3.0 legs, but as you can see, I really like these because they sit really flush against his hips. So it doesn't look like he has weird, awkward, like big hips like the legendary Super Saiyan Goku, which sadly I do not have, but I have seen comparisons, and those hips look kind of weird, I do have to admit. I can't wait for the Cell Games Goku, by the way. Oh, by the way, comment down below if you guys are going to get the Cell Games Goku, or if you guys are going to get a Demoniacal Fit, what is it, Majin Buster, or Martialist Forever, Beyond, go further beyond, I think that's what it's called. Comment down below which one you're getting. I'd like to know in the comments. But in terms of articulation, let's push this down. That is, wow, that is a perfect, actually it's past 90. It's a bit past 90, there's a little flake right there. It's actually a little past 90, that's really impressive. Go down, I think they dropped down, yes, they dropped down a little bit. So if you can see, I'm pushing the leg up, just not too hard, just firmly enough. But then when I pull it down, okay, so that's pretty good. That means if I do this again, maybe you can reach like a little more. But that's pretty good. And then pull it down forward. Wow. And then let's see, pull it down, back. It's not directly like all the way back or straight, but actually you can kick back a little bit. So that's pretty cool actually. And not a lot of figures can do that, I will say. Again, pull it down a little bit. Actually, technically you can go past 90, yeah. Actually, so you can go maybe max like 140, somewhere there. Because this crotch piece is soft enough to actually be malleable, but it's not the softest ever. I think Bandai has had some softer crotch pieces. And again, pull the arm up past 90. Nope, arm's kind of moved a little bit there. And now the shins. So the shins actually, these are, as far as I know, they're connected on a ball joint. So if you see carefully, I can move them forward, back, to the center, and then side to side a little bit. It's not a whole lot, especially because of the way the pants are sculpted. They're sculpted like with quite a bit of detail in terms of accuracy. So they won't have the greatest amount of movement, but it's honestly pretty cool to have. It's pretty cool to see. There you go. More to the back, to the front, side to side. And now the ankle joints. Also, as far as I know, these are like the legendary Super Saiyan Goku. If you push this forward, is it forward? Yeah, yes. If you move this forward, as you can see, there's a gap now. You can get better range of motion back, which is really good. If you move it backwards, you can have greater range of motion forward to the front, and of course like neutral. Again with this one, push it forward, you get more range back, push it backwards, get more range forward. And that's pretty much it in terms of articulation. Sometimes I have a little bit of trouble putting the joints back just because the ankles, you know, it's not a whole lot of figures have that. So it's kind of unusual sometimes to deal with. However, but, so yeah, here he is. Let me fix his ankles again. There we go, okay, he's good. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this figure so far. For those of you that have it or don't, if you're thinking of getting it. My stance on this, officially, straightforward, is if you guys have money, if you guys can afford it, if you guys are still looking for a good Gogeta figure, I say do get this. Definitely do get this if you're able to get one. Or able to afford it, I should say. And the last thing I will say, the vest. So the vest is a little peculiar. It does cause a little bit of paint rub on the chest, a little bit, but it can rub off. It's not a deal breaker, but if that would bother you, for sure, like, you know, obviously then they don't have to get this. And I have seen that if right here at the back, inside the vest, but like right here behind his neck, if you bend it too much, it starts to crack, and I think it starts to break a little bit. So just also don't be too rough with the vest. Of course, you should be able to play around with your figures comfortably enough, but also don't go full ape on it and just, you know, start breaking everything apart. But again, I think this is a good figure. If you guys are on the market still for a Gogeta figure, I do recommend this if you guys can afford it. But yeah, do a little bit of posing for the final segment of the video, but let's go ahead and do that.
I am not Goku or Vegeta, I am Gogeta! It's over, Janempa! I come for you! Every force you create has an echo. Your own bad energy will be your undoing.
Hey guys, what is going on? Thank you guys for tuning into the video. This review has been in the making for a while now. Sorry about the delay, but again, I do recommend that you guys get this figure if you can afford it and you don't mind the couple of issues it has. I really do think this is an awesome figure, and some posing with Vegito, OC Toys Vegito. But other than that, thank you guys for watching, and hope you have a great day. See you later.